There's some interesting things floating around online. I always read things. My friend Ben Clemens, who I think's really smart, he wrote a thing about 4 players that he thinks lower of 1 month into the season. One of them's Kyle Gibson. Okay. Okay. Let's see. 6 innings, all 5 starts, 4 quality starts, which is 9th in baseball. He's also in the top 10 in innings. And his last, except for 1 bad start, his ERA is in the 2s. But the underlying statistics tell you this is all a mirage. Okay. I've had this before. I talked to Jim Hewer about it. I always look at underlying statistics, but you know the other thing I look at? The pitcher actually pitching, okay? I find that to be helpful. It's sort of like these underlying hockey metrics, where, you see during the season, Jordan Binnington's got this goal save above average metric, and you're like, what? It was like basically minuscule. Mm-hmm. What games are you all watching? Dom Lucic and all those guys at the Athletic. What the hell are they watching? Binnington's the number one reason why they won as many games as they did. Well, you look at his games saved above average. I know that his basic statistics are really, really outstanding. But if you look at them underlying statistics, it's just a mirage. Oh, is it now? Ask his teammates about that, his coach, his general manager. All right, I'm done raising hell. Well, no, actually I'm not.
Oh, no, we got more to do, Bernie.
I was just warming up. What can I say about this team? I don't know. I get to the point where I said to Mrs. Bernie a little while ago, I said, I'm talking about the same stuff every single day when it comes to this baseball team. Every single day. Because so many of their games are like basically the same game. The score might be slightly different, but it's the same problem. Not pretty much, but in many games that they play, it's the same type of loss. And I asked Mrs. Bernie, I said, I don't mind raising hell. I don't mind entertaining myself by, just kind of like turning up the energy and putting things on blast because I really feel that way. But I'm thinking the audience might be getting tired of it, and maybe I ought to start doing some of these slappy segments that you hear a lot, where all the boys try to show how funny they are. You got comedians, and all that stuff. Maybe I think I'm going to start doing some lighter segments beginning next week. I'm going to be off on Monday, but I think I'm just going to develop a game plan, and we're going to at least put some lighter things into the show, because I can't, as much as I love to talk about baseball, and I know that's where the overwhelming interest is. Can I really sit here for 6 months and basically talking about the same type of game for 6 months straight? I mean, I think I would drive myself crazy, so I have empathy for the audience. I don't think anybody wants to listen to that. Or they might want to listen to it, but it's like, okay, you made your point, move on, that type of thing. So, yeah, I'm going to have to change some things around. It's just when I start to bore myself, I can only imagine what the audience is feeling. So much for that. So let's talk about the latest game that is like about 17 other games they've played. They lose to not the Arizona Diamondbacks. Like I said, the same game. So, yeah, I said Arizona. Well, who can blame me? They lose the final game in Detroit 4-1 today. They had a solo homer by Contreras. That was it. But the boys got the off day tomorrow, and then the boys ain't real good about winning that final game of a series. I think that now makes them 1-10, maybe 1-9. And the boys got that off day. So they just got to get to the airport and get on home, get a head start on that day off. So anyway, so they had one of those type of games today. It's like getaway day, and let's get away, and come on, boys, let's make it quick. So they took a really good road trip, and they basically ruined it because they won the first 2 games of the road trip. And it seemed like they had the third game won. They were on the cusp. They were 1 strike away, and they lost it. They go to Detroit. It's like, okay, they win the first game. Nice comeback. All right, this will spark the boys. No. They lose the final 2 games of the series. So instead of having a road trip that could be, let's just be conservative. Let's just say 4-2. But certainly 5-1's a possibility. They come back with a 500 record. And this is what I'm talking about. It's just treading water. It's the same thing over and over and over again. Where the Cardinals get to 500, or let me rephrase that. They have a chance to get to 500, or they have a chance to go over 500, or in one occasion they had a chance to go 2 games over 500. And their record in those kind of games where you're getting close to being at least average in terms of your record, or maybe building something that's going to take you above 500, every time they put themselves in that opportunity to do it, they flop. And I'm going to run them down real quick. They were 3-3. They went to, after losing 3 out of 4 in L.A., they went to San Diego, won 2 games in a row. So they're 3-3. You're thinking, okay, that's a good response. And look, I know they won the series, but the point is they could have swept the Padres. They didn't. They could have been 4-2. No, yeah, they could have been 4 what's the things here? 4 games, 7 games. They could have come off that road trip with a winning record, the way that it started, if they had swept San Diego in the 3rd game. But they lost the 3rd game because it was a no-show. And so they're 3-3 with a chance to get 4-3, and they flop. They lose to the Padres. So they come home, they beat Miami, and I forget who the best high school baseball team is in St. Louis, but I think Miami lost 3 out of 4 to them. So they beat Miami 2 games in a row, and then they're 5-4. Can we have a parade? It was the first time they were over 500 since the 3rd game of 2023. So they got a chance to go 2 games over 500, but what do? They lose. They get blown out by Miami in the final game of the series. All right. And then they lose to Philadelphia. So they go from being, 5-4, they lose 2 in a row. Instead of building on 5-4, they lose 2 in a row. All of a sudden, it's 6-6. They got a chance, however, to win a series from Philadelphia by taking the 3rd game. And so now they're 6-7. Another failed opportunity to get to 500 or get over 500. All right. They win the opener in Arizona, and they're 7-7, I think it was. Yeah, 7-7. They win the opener. All right, got a chance to get over 500, right? No, lose 2 in a row. 7-9. They win 2 in a row at Oakland. It's like, all right, boy, what a mighty team. They're 500. And then they lost the final game because the players could not wait to get on the bus and get to the airport and get home for the day off. By the way, why do they have so many damn day offs in April and early May?
I don't know that one. That's weird. You're right.
Because I actually think it does them harm. Anyway, so they win 2 at Oakland. They got a chance to come back with a winning record on the season. But no, they lose the 3rd game because they mailed it in. They're 9-10. Then they say, well, that's all right. The boys got a division game. The blood's going to be flowing. They're fired up. No, they got swept by the Brewers. So they dig back into a hole. They got to dig themselves out. Now all of a sudden it's 9-13. And they do win the Arizona series. Okay, now it's 11-14. They win the first 2 games at New York. Now they're 13-14. Okay, nice recovery from that sweep. And no, they don't get to 500. They lost the Sunday game to make themselves 13-15. They win the first game in Detroit to get close again. They're 14-15. Look out for the Cardinals. Here they come. Here come the Cardinals. No, they lose the next two. So here they are. Every single time they have had a chance this season to get to 500 or over 500 or on one occasion, 2 games over 500. Every single time they failed. I think it's 7 times. Forgive my math if I'm off one. The point is they've flunked those games every single time. And that's why you're 14-17. That's why overall your pitching's been solid. Your run prevention's been much, much better than last year. You're playing good defense. You know, when you get people on base, which I know ain't all that often, you can't drive them in on a consistent basis. But, you know, they manufacture some runs. But they just can't put everything together because this offense is dreadful. And I'm getting to the point where I'm going to be like one of the Cowboys on X or Twitter. Or one of these bloggers. You know, is there someone that we can hold accountable for this? Like, I think it's time to maybe hold someone accountable for this. Now, don't get excited because John Mozeliak ain't going to get fired and Ali Marmol ain't going to get fired, okay? But I don't know. This organization in past times, I mean, how many hitting coaches have they put in a van and dumped into the Mississippi River, maybe even the Missouri River? How many times have they done that? They got like 3 or 4 hitting coaches. Why that is, I don't know. If Bill DeWitt is as cheap as people say he is, you got to save some money. You don't need 17 hitting coaches, okay? Because for except a couple guys, nobody hits. So what are they working on? I don't know. I just don't know. But if they want to submarine their own season with this lethargic offense, they get what they deserve. And, you know, I'm watching our friends, and God bless them, they got a job to do, and they're a rights holder. I'm watching the post-game show, and it's like, well, you know, they won the first 2 games of the road trip, and I know it's disappointing that they, you know, didn't finish it strong, but hey, they come back 3-3. Oh, hold on, I'll go get the party favors. Okay? I'll go to those stores where you buy all the party stuff. Where do y'all want to meet? Let's celebrate. They had 3-3 where they should have been like 5-1. And then I actually heard the word dominant to describe Miles Miklasz. Miles Miklasz allowed 3 runs in the first 3 innings.
Yes.
It was like 1 in the second, 2 in the third, I believe.
Yes.
All right. After that, he did a nice job. He held them there. His final 3 innings scoreless. He held them right there. But the point is, when you have an offense like this, if you put your team in an early hole by more than a run, let's say, you know, if it's like 3-0 or something like that. Like when Gibson gave up the solo home run yesterday, I said, well, that's okay. That's what he does. As long as he keeps it right there, it's fine. But if you're Miles Miklasz, who, you know, you haven't really done much this season, and by the way, another batch of 2-strike hits by the Tigers today, early in the game, when the game was basically decided. You spot the Tigers or any team a 3-0 lead with this St. Louis offense. You might as well just like kind of gas up the bus because your chances of winning are going to be pretty awful. You know, it's pretty much you're sentencing yourself to an automatic loss. And that's kind of what happened. Okay, I know the pitching line. Technically, it's a quality start. I appreciate a guy when he rebounds from a couple of rough early innings, and then the final line is he allows 3 runs in 6 innings. See, and that's the kind of start that all these people holler about with quality starts. Well, what's so special about 450 ERA? Well, when it comes to quality start, the actual quality starts, if you go around and you add them all up, and I've done this 20 times, Major League Baseball in a season, you get a quality start, teams win the game somewhere between 72-76% of the time. That's why. But, yeah, this was one of those quality starts that really didn't amount to a whole much. But that doesn't define the value of a quality start. You're going to have games like this. So, yeah, he limited the damage. In theory, he gave them a chance. But if you see all those at-bats, I don't know. You see them 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position again. I didn't – the way Kenta Maeda was throwing off-speed and breaking pitches, and they seemed stunned by that. And I have a theory on that in a minute. They never adjusted. They're never like, oh, we were expecting fastballs because that's his favorite pitch and he throws it a lot. Oh, I'll be damned. He's throwing off speed and breaking balls. I'll be damned. Well, nah, we don't want to make no adjustments. We just want to play some ball and get out of here. We don't need to make no damn adjustments. Kenta Maeda, and A.J. Hinch and that Tiger staff's really smart. Kenta Maeda this year, his fastball is awful, and he's in love with it. And he's gotten beaten up throwing the four-seam fastball, just absolutely beaten up, okay? So the Cardinals come to the ballpark, I guarantee you, they're having their little pregame hitters meeting or whatever. They're all jacked up because the Cardinals are the worst team in the National League at hitting four-seam fastballs. And by the way, that is a fact because I did the research on that this morning. The Cardinals have the worst batting average and the worst slugging percentage in the National League against four-seam fastballs. That's very disturbing because four-seam fastballs are actually the easiest pitch to hit. This team can't hit them. There's a couple of guys who do. But when you're hitting 205 or something like that, I'll give you the number later. When you're the worst team in your league at hitting four-seam fastballs.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
So these boys get to the park and they're like, oh, man, we're finally going to get a chance to beat up a guy who throws four-seam fastballs because his ain't very good. Tigers knew that. They knew what the Cardinals were thinking. They're like, oh, man, this team can't hit these fastballs, but let's mess with them. Let's screw with their heads because they ain't real smart. And they got all them hitting coaches over there. They got 17, 19 hitting coaches over there. I'm exaggerating to make a point. And those guys don't appear to be too bright either. I don't see Walter Horrendous or Charlie Lau over there. Oh, he's throwing he knew we'd be looking for hunting fastballs. Oh, now he's a wily old devil. He's throwing them breaking pitches and change-ups and that's slow stuff. Oh, okay. He going to try to outfox us. Well, I guess we should tip the cap because he did, because we never adjusted because we're stupid. I mean, seriously. I'm sitting at home typing up notes watching this, and even I could figure out what was going on. Right?
It's pretty obvious, but yes.
I don't know what to say. Their offense was starting to perk up a little bit. Mm-hmm. A couple of those Arizona games. First two games in New York, you saw some life. And they're right back the way it's been. So the Cardinals, they've played 31 games. They're 14-17. The Cardinals have now scored 3 runs or less in 19 of the 31 games, which is remarkable, but in a bad way. That's 61% of their games. They have scored 3 runs or less more times than any team in the National League, and I think only the White Sox in the American League have done that more often. You're not going to win games when you don't get more than 3 runs. And even, even when you score 4, you have a better chance, but it's not like if you score exactly 4 runs, you're going to have this dynamic record. You get to 5, you'll win a lot of games. But they can't get to 5. And they're stuck on 3. And this season, those 19 times when they've scored 3 runs or less, after today, they're now 5-14. They're 9 games under 500. And in some of those games, they got really good pitching performances. They wasted them, Also, after today, although it was not Miles Michaelis' fault, I wouldn't blame him for the loss. I'm just saying, when you get off to a bad start because you're throwing lousy pitches with 2 strike counts, which is his whole thing, and you spot them 3-0, with this putrid offense, you're not going. Cardinals ain't going to win many games when they're down 3-0. And so in that regard, that part of the Michaelis start was very disappointing because it sort of doomed them to defeat. I mean, it's not his fault they can't score runs. And I'm acknowledging that try to be fair. But that didn't help the cause today when he gave up 3 early ones. So let's update one thing. In games started by Gray and Lynn and Gibson, the Cardinals are 10-6. In games started by Michaelis and Matz and Thompson, they're 4-11.
Oh, wow.
It's a pretty big split, isn't it?
Very big split.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. So, Kyle Gibson's not very good, and I think lower of him now.
By the way, I just have
you know what? It always stings when someone you look up to. I mean, it really, really stings to see that. I love Ben Clemens. I think the world of him, and we all lose our minds temporarily or something.
It
I love him,
happens.
but it's like that hurt to read that. It's like what do you do? We know about the underlying statistics. If the underlying statistics come back and blow them up, we'll all be writing about it. But all I know is they got a pretty damn good chance to win a game when he pitches. I mean, sometimes it really is that simple. Sometimes when you hold the other team, the dude has given up 3 earned runs. His last 3 starts, he's given up 1 earned run in each of the 3 starts while pitching 19 innings. His last 3 starts, 19 innings, 3 earned runs. And he goes toe-to-toe with Peralta. It's a draw. He goes toe-to-toe with Jordan Montgomery, lefty Grove. It's a draw. He goes toe-to-toe with Jack Flaherty, who was finally motivated for the first time in 6 or 7 years. And he pitches him to a draw on a day where Flaherty struck out 28 guys or whatever. No, that's actually half of that, I think.
It was 14, but yes.
I know, it's 14. So here's Kyle Gibson. He pitches his last 3 starts, 19 innings, 3 earned runs allowed. And then I got to read on Fangraphs about, I think lower of him. What? But you know what? All the people that get tired of me talking about Kyle Gibson, I'm smiling for y'all because you like the fact that a friend of mine irritated me with that stuff. So, yeah. And I get it. So I'm laughing too. Now he'll probably never come on the show again. But hey, man, it's just like your family. Sometime growing up, you're going to have a brother let you down. You love him as much as you could. You're going to have a sister let you down. You love them and think highly of them, but they let you down on this one day. Maybe your mom, your parents do that. We do it to others. People think pretty highly of us, but we let them down. But it doesn't mean you stop loving them or admiring them. It just means you're disappointed. That's all. It's okay. It's okay.
Sometimes we let them down, though, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. No, I said sometimes we do that.
So, But I did get a kick out of it, too, because I saw it. I went, interesting. Everybody's got a different thought.
Kyle Gibson's exceeded expectations, and you know why I know that? He's actually exceeded my expectations, and my expectations were pretty good. But enough about that. They're having a hard time winning games that aren't started by Gray, Lynn, Gibson. And look, this thing could turn, but I don't know. And I was trying to watch that thing last night after we got off the air.
Yeah, I was, too. It was rough.
Or as we were going off the air.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, the lefty, he didn't look like he wanted to be out there. And he had no confidence. He had no life. His pitches were flat. His velocity was down. As they say in hockey, the compete level.
It wasn't there last night.
It was non-existent. Okay, so Steven Matz is bad again. He has been bad since he flubbed the little tapper in front of the mound at Arizona on that Friday night, April the 12th. And for some reason, this caused him to become mentally unhinged. He's still not over it. Okay. Now, people listen and say, well, Bernie, he had a stiff back because he heard it running between starts. And, he had a stiff back, and, he sucked it up and he pitched. And, he told Marmol, the pitching coach, he was okay to pitch. He felt fine enough to pitch. So listen, if you're suggesting, I try to be really polite here. If you're suggesting that I should have empathy for Steven Matz and give him an attaboy because he went out and tried to pitch when he was not feeling 100%, are you kidding me? No. I mean, we've seen Bob Gibson pitch with a broken leg. We've seen Chris Carpenter trying to grunt through a strained oblique. Woody Williams doing the same thing. Adam Wainwright in 2018, that guy, his elbow's on fire every game he pitched that season. He just kept sucking it up, gritting his teeth, and pitching really good ball for the most part. These guys pitch hurt all the time. All the time. So he had some back soreness because he was jogging?
Oh.
I mean, what is it with this guy? Injury and after injury after injury after injury. Now, some of you will say, because of course everything is Ali Marmol's fault. Everything. I know that. No, actually I don't, but I know that you know that. That's what you think. So, well, the manager should have told him, no, we're going to start someone else in it. Oh, so you think that's the way to go? Like a bullpen. You're going to have a bullpen game? What are you going to do? Or what, who are you going to start? Like who could you have started Libator? Well, he pitched Sunday through 3 innings. So if you're going to say no, we'd rather have you not go. It's too late to get somebody up from Memphis. I guess you could have had a bullpen game, but you saw how that worked out, because when you have a bullpen game from the beginning, you're not starting the bullpen game with your best guys. You're starting with guys who would be like your middle relievers, your low leverage relievers. And that's how the game got away last night, because Spartacus Matz, he left the middle innings vacant. And in the middle innings, you're going to use your lower leverage, middle leverage guys, because that's just the way bullpens are structured. Now, again, I know it's Ali Marmol, and I know that you all believe, a lot of you, he's to blame for every single thing. Like every at-bat that's bad, that's his fault, right? Everything's his fault. I get it.
Of course.
But no, if this guy looks in the eye and says he's ready to go, and he got his work in between starts and all that, well then, you're in a tough spot there. It's not like you got 3 other guys down there that can start and give you 5 innings. I don't know. So Matz, as they say in horse racing, spit the bit last night. Old Spartacus didn't quite have it. And, that put the bullpen, that put the team in a bad spot, even though they came back to take the lead after being down 4-0. You're you're in the middle of the game. You're not even in the later innings. You're in the 5th inning, 6th inning. And you're using guys that normally you wouldn't use. You wouldn't use not much in the 7th, 8th, 9th innings, but you had no choice but to go to them. And Gallegos, listen, man, we can talk about this. Gallegos, and I got some stuff on this because I did some homework this morning. Gallegos, I have so much respect for this guy, and I admire him, and he was an outstanding reliever from 2019 through 2022. But as I talked about on the show a bunch of times last year, there were signs of slippage. And I thought, okay, it was just one of those years. This guy's, I think he can get it back. I think he's going to be all right. And I was even defending him earlier this season. And, there were times when he was all right. And by the way, also look at that strikeout rate of his. And it's like, he's not all bad, because you don't strike out guys like this if you're bad. So he's just got to try to put this together. So I still had hopes, and I admit it. And you can make fun of me. You can say I told you so. Well, that's fine. He's free-falling, and he's been free-falling since the start of last season. And that thing last night was just brutal. Just brutal. And among my discoveries, since 2021, he's lost 2.5 miles per hour on his fastball, and he's lost about 2.5 miles per hour on his slider. So when you're throwing, it's the only 2 pitches he realistically has. And those pitches used to be able to get hitters out, had movement, they had snap, they were sharp, they had good velocity. They're not that way anymore. They are that way at times, and he still strikes out people with his slider. But it's probably because they're looking for the fastball. But his fastball is so hittable, and he's not getting strikeouts on it. He's not getting swings and misses on it. And, this season, with that diminished velocity and movement on his fastball, it's really, they're hitting 357 with a 1.071 slugging percentage against his four-seamer this year. 3 of the 4 home runs have been on four-seamers. The other thing he's doing is he's walking people left and right. He came into the season with about a 6.5% walk rate for his career, right? Mm-hmm. His walk rate this season is 15.5%. It's basically just short of tripled what it was for his career before this year. Before this year, before 2023, I should say, he gave up less than a home run per 9 innings. Like his home run rate is like he'd give you, on average, less than 1. But let's just round it off to 1, about 1 home run per 9 innings. But it was actually a little less than that. This year, you know what the home run rate is against him? 4 home runs for every 9 innings pitched.
Whew.
That's not a guy you can give the ball to in any kind of big spot. And I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. Because they're not going to dump him. So I don't know what you do. Ali Marmol has actually been trying to stay away from him. But if you notice that, he's been trying to set this bullpen up to give them the best chance of win when it's a winnable game, 7th, 8th, 9th innings and beyond. And he's had it set up well, even though I forgot, I'm sorry, he doesn't do anything right. But if a guy's in your bullpen, you got to use them. There's going to be situations where you can't hide them. Last night was one of those.
Mm-hmm.
They got away with it in New York the other day. Last night, I don't think he had much of a choice. So what are you going to do? You can't hide a guy all season long from any spot. Like, in other words, for any spot that is like not a blowout or not where you don't have like a 5-run lead or a 4-run lead. You can't hide him. So what is the answer? I think it's time to go to Gio and say, you looked a little funny in your motion. Is it? Listen, you can tell us the truth. Is your neck bothering you? Well, I feel no. Come on, your neck is bothering you, right?
Right here, feel that? That's where it hurts.
We're just looking out for you. You can't pitch when you're hurt. Your neck. Listen, your neck's screwed up. You just don't want to tell us. I think it's time for one of those conversations. Even if there's not anything wrong with his neck, I think you just got to go have that conversation. Right?
Yes.
What, you don't think every team does it? Of course they do.
That was the Dakota Hudson injury all last year.
The Dodgers do that 25 times a season.
They do. The numbers you gave on him were awesome.
They're stunning.
They describe everything, because I'm watching that last night while he's pitching and go, man, he cannot throw a slider for a strike. So they're just going to sit there and go, I'm waiting for that fastball, and bang, they just crush it. And to your point, they're crushing that four-seamer. It's just
they're massacring it. It's not even a competitive pitch. It's not even remotely competitive. No. His swing whiff rate on that pitch is about 7%, which is awful.
Yeah.
And when he was going good, he's getting a swing whiff, which is swing and miss. He was getting a swing and miss rate on that four-seamer, way up over like 30%. And now 7.
Yeah, it's obvious.
He can't get that pitch by them anymore. Unless they're looking for something and he kind of fools them, or they chase something out of the zone and they swing and miss.
Right. That's
the other thing. The chase rate on him is down. He used to really get guys to go out of the strike zone trying to fish for something, and he exploited that. And his chase rates used to be in the 32, 33, 34%. It's now in 26, 27%. So there's real problems there. I just don't know what the solution is, and I know what the usual response. Well, you just got to cut them. They're not going to do that.
No.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but they ain't going to do it. All righty.
By the way,
go ahead.
I need to tell a couple texters. Bernie's not changing the format, so calm down. They don't want you to stop doing what you're doing.
No, I think when I come back Tuesday, the first hour is going to be what was the better decade for music, the 1970s or the 1980s? So we're going to do an hour on that.
Okay.
Right?
I'll get some new music ready.
What's some of the other lazy talk show stuff? Oh, okay. Best pizza in St. Louis.
Oh. Okay.
We'll do a half an hour on that, right?
All right.
And let's see, we'll get about 15 minutes in. It's like, in your opinion, what's the most overrated movie of all time?
All time.
So we'll do that, and then we'll get to some sports in the last 20, 30 minutes of the show, maybe.
All right.
How's that sound?
Oh, the Texers are going to be.
No,
they're freaking out already. You have to tell them, calm down.
I'm kidding you.
They go, we love it when Bernie rips them. They deserve it.
Well, I'm sincerely thankful that you feel that way. So thank you very much. Seriously. Let's take a little time out here on the Bernie Show. By the way, we'll be at Friendly Sports Bar and Grill next Wednesday, a week from today, and I'm going to tell you more about that later. But Cardinals didn't come through for you. They did yesterday. If you were at Friendlies, you get a home team special round on the house because they won the opener of the doubleheader. But you couldn't double up last night because they lost, and they totally flunked a chance for you to get another home team special with the day ball today. But they'll be back at it again Friday against the White Sox. White Sox swept Tampa Bay, so don't get cocky. Right?
Yes, that's how it works.
Don't get cocky. And since, as we all know, that any former Cardinal player out there is going to turn into Rogers Hornsby when he faces the Cardinals, or he's going to turn into Harry Brackeen when he faces the Cardinals, right?
Oh, okay.
We know that. So that means Tommy Pham's going to have a monster weekend.
Oh, no.
Well, maybe not, considering who the Cardinals will be starting in that game. Maybe not.